So some of the big potentials we have here in Bhutan is that we have a very young population. The average age is around 27 years old, and we're very tech forward because the youth of the world right now are very comfortable interacting over social media and digital platforms and everything. So we have that going for us. And secondly, we are very English fluent because English is actually the English taught medium here.
Very excited to be able to speak with Wangchug. So Wangchug is actually a Senior Analyst from the Bhutan Druk Holding and Investment Limited. I will not share with you more about him so that I will leave the surprise to him.
Thank you so much for having me and letting me talk about what I do as well as what the program that I kind of represent does. So I am Pema Wangchug, but I guess you can just call me Wangchug. I'm from the country of Bhutan, which is not too far away from Singapore, I guess. Where you guys are east of us, and we do have a few flights that connect. Hopefully, a lot of you will come and visit us once COVID is over.
How is the freelancing landscape like in Bhutan right now, and what is the potential that you see in this growing sector, if I may?
Sure. I think freelancing in Bhutan currently it's quite nascent. It's fairly new. There are domestic freelancers in Bhutan who operate in the domestic market, and Bhutan is a country that has a lot of it's tourism based, so a lot of hospitality and everything. So there's a lot of very basic websites that are required, and our domestic freelancing market comes and develops these static websites and everything. More currently now, I think some of the more successful domestic freelancers are starting to look outwards into the international market. But this is also very, very basic right now, very foundational what's happening. And we're basically looking at how DHI can support these these initiatives and kind of look at trailblazing Bhutanese penetration into the international freelancing market.
So, Wangchug, I know you actually graduated and completed a Master of Science, from a UK business school. So, do you think that your time in London actually helps you to bring some of the insight back to Bhutan?
Oh, definitely. Because I think it's always good to see perspective. When you get to have the opportunity to be in an educational system that's very developed, and it's also in a country that's extremely developed in terms of its economy and, like you said, the freelancing kind of network and everything, you get to see that the potential of what Bhutan can eventually reach, as well as you realize that I think the concept of working from home remotely is fairly new, especially in Bhutan. And in the UK, even though I was there right around the time COVID was coming up, people were still working, just starting to work remotely from home, and it was sustainable. So it kind of brought that perspective that if these are things that are being accepted, especially in such established kind of countries, we can definitely try to access that also from Bhutan. So yeah.
Great. So what are some of the challenges that you see are currently faced by the freelancers in Bhutan at the moment?
Basically, I think in terms of freelancing domestically, the domestic market is very, very minuscule in Bhutan. There are 700, our total population is only about 720,000. So domestically, once we kind of satisfy the requirements, I don't think there's enough volume of demand to maintain it domestically. And that's why I think we really need to access the international market. But now when you access the international market, yes, there's more opportunities, but there's also a lot more competition. And Bhutan, one of the biggest things Bhutan has is brand Bhutan, the mystique of being from Bhutan and everything. And I think that becomes very hard to leverage when you're competing with the rest of the world. And understandably, people in the freelancing realm, when they're looking for services, they're looking for the maximum amount of work that can be done for the minimum amount of money. So with us in Bhutan, we really need to make sure that if we need to penetrate this international market, we need to be able to deliver on at least one of these value propositions. Either we need to do it at a lot more economical value, or we need to do it at a much higher quality value. So some of the big potentials we have here in Bhutan is that we have a very young population. The average age is around 27 years old. And we're very tech forward because the youth of the world right now are very comfortable interacting over social media and digital platforms and everything. So we have that going for us. And secondly, we are very English fluent because English is actually the English taught medium here. And I think other countries, especially in South Asia region like Bangladesh and India, which are powerhouses in the digital freelancing market in the world, they generally might have issues with communication and everything. And those are things that we don't have. We're extremely fluent with English. On top of that, also, we are a country where tourism and hospitality is a huge aspect of our business. So our, what do you call it? Our kind of our customer relations and our service, we're very service oriented in everything. So I think these are things that we can really leverage into becoming a force in the international freelancing market.
Definitely, definitely. So one of the thing you were sharing with me earlier is that you were also working on a program, right? To help freelancers in Bhutan, right? To know
Yes, yes.
more about the trade. So would you be able to share with us a little bit more about the program that you're driving currently?
Sure, yeah. So under the DHI BizAP banner, which I talked about that time, we have this new program called the Digital Skill Up Freelancing Program. And basically, the idea with this program was to take people who are passionate, very intelligent, and dedicated, but not necessarily having a strong background in tech, and give them skill sets, like a strong foundational skill sets on some digital literacy uh, what do you call it, literacy components. So these include things like website development, digital marketing, as well as mobile application development. And we do it completely without any coding because we think that initially, especially when you're trying to understand these concepts and seeing whether you want to be in this space, coding is quite intimidating a lot of the times. So we initially just wanted to attract people to come in and get a foundation in these areas. And we partnered with this company called Forward School, which is a Malaysian-based future skills school. And they've been very accommodating, and they've been basically being our educational provider aspect of that. So we took on, we've just finished our first in-class training, and we did a batch of 25 individuals. And currently they're taking part of the second part of the training program, which is the aftercare program, where we took the most highest potential members of that cohort of 25 or the batch of 25. And we took about 13 of them, and we've given them some infrastructure support in terms of a location, internet support, as well as, and like basically access to the leading domestic freelancer in Bhutan. And basically it's an apprenticeship. So they're embedded with him and they're on a revenue share model. So as well as they do, they get more money. And for the next 6 months, they're going to be trying to actually learn about how to take those skills that they've learned in the classroom and take it to practical, into the practical sphere. Because what we realized when we did our initial program planning was that the skills are definitely there. Not only maybe not even in the class that we taught, but there are a lot of other IT and tech graduates. But the barrier to entry into the freelancing kind of space is that's the soft skills and the kind of meta. How do you take your skills and how do you market? How do you sell it and get access, through these platforms like Fiverr and freelancer.com and everything. So this is where our domestic freelancer comes in. So he's I think one of the few, you can count on one hand people who in Bhutan who have been successful in that international market, and he's actually the leader of them. So that's basically what we're doing as of now.
Gaining access, right, is always an issue. I mean, whether they are in Bhutan or in elsewhere, I guess, because we also operate a freelance network community in Singapore, right? So gaining access to international market has always been one of the key challenge. And it looks like, you have a lot planned out for the freelancers in Bhutan already. I would say they're quite lucky. So how can businesses actually tap into the freelancing pool in Bhutan?
Sure. So as of now, like this is all very new to us as well. It's as we're talking about it, it's kind of happening at the same time as well. We are trying right now through the domestic freelancer, through these platforms like Freelancer and Fiverr. He's attempting it in those ways, but we're also looking at ways of kind of approaching different networks or companies that kind of do this stuff. So like basically your company, Jace, Creatives at Work, is something that we definitely love to work with you guys. We'd love to get our participants and our graduates on in your network pool and everything, because it's basically we're writing the script as we go kind of it. So as of now, directly, if there's anyone listening right now who might be interested in all, I would say please approach Jace, or you could write directly to me, and we could see what we can do. In terms of pure hard tech skills, we are not limited by that, but there might be a few initial kind of what do you call it, matching of expectations and everything. But Bhutanese are hard workers, we're passionate, and we're definitely eager to have the opportunity to prove ourselves in the market. So
I'm just wondering, in terms of the freelancing skill sets currently that you have, right? And you have encountered, what proportion are the skill sets being split? Like, for example, are they more in the creative space, or are they more in the tech space? Do you have like statistic like this?
And I would say it would be roughly, off the top of my head, about 75 web development and kind of tech skills based, and 25% more in terms of creative. But I think that the ratio is going to change dramatically, because when we look domestically at the talent pool that's there now, when you go on Instagram and you see all of these Bhutanese art accounts and everything, people who are selling their pictures for commission and everything, I would count those as freelancers as well. I think the ratio is changing, and this idea that at least I think this idea has been already spread outside of Bhutan, but in Bhutan, this idea that freelancing isn't just tech based, it's also creative based. It's just that digital and computers are the platform and the medium of access. So it's going to definitely flip over more now.
Yeah, definitely. That's what we are seeing as well. So I think in the past, predominantly are in the tech and creative, but we are also seeing, industry, for example, like the pharmaceutical, right, are also going into freelancing as well.
So we continue to keep running multiple batches of this training and kind of increasing our pool of talent and our ecosystem as well. To increase that ecosystem, we continue to keep reaching out to different important, powerful, what do you call it, entities in the space, like Creatives at Work, develop our network, because we know that we have the talent, and we just need to connect the dots almost, right? Basically, our main goal, as we've been reiterating again and again here at DHI, especially with freelancing, is we want to reach critical mass. We want to give it all of the required resources, and give it the encouragement, and give it the momentum, so eventually it can become sustainable. So in that end, like I said, we'll keep the programs going on, and maybe possibly also look at creating a talent pool, obviously vetted, that might not necessarily have gone through our training, but would have had basically the skill sets that could be desirable, and then kind of marketing that talent pool outside. So these are our two main areas that we're really trying to push into.
Right. Yeah. So that sounds like a plan. So what are some of the opportunities that you think will be immediately available to your pool of freelancers who has already graduated from the programs?
So as of now, we've actually had a few recruitments already from the pool. Some of our promising students, participants, they underwent a selection process through our network, through Forward School. And I want to reiterate again that Forward School has been a very, very supportive partner in our endeavors here in Bhutan. And through their network, we've had placement of a few of our participants in more permanent positions in a digital marketing firm called Refruit. And we also have a placement of another student who is not actually related in terms of the web development skills, but he had his own kind of a background in accounting, and we've connected him to an accounting firm as well, again, remote work. So these are kind of small success stories for us that we kind of want to keep leveraging and moving into. And just like I was saying again, Jace, in the Creatives at Works network, and any other person listening in this podcast, if you feel that there is something you want to explore with us, please contact us, and we can definitely find a bespoke way we can both work together and collaborate.
Right, great. Sound like you have actually a very agile way of working with different partners. So I think just now you brought up a very good point about the ecosystems, right? So in terms of the policy as well as the regulation framework, I'm just wondering, is that going to are you looking at also changing some of the policy to make it a more conducive environment?
I don't think we have any regulatory or bureaucratic kind of hurdles that we have to face in regards to our people being able to be remotely work or anything. I think we have no issues in terms of like hiring and basically the working like that. In fact, it's quite favorable. I don't think we have too many requirements also for firms that are hiring outside of Bhutan. The only true kind of hurdle that we have is kind of our payment systems. So as of now, Bhutan I think what I've heard is that we're still trying to get certain payment gateways like through PayPal and I think what was Stripe. These are different payment gateways that we're trying to have access to. But as of now, we do not have formal relations with these two companies, and unfortunately, they're not payment methods that we can utilize. And PayPal is actually one of the things that I think is critical for a nation to, but like an area for a freelancer to have access to being able to remotely work. So as of now, all payment is done via bank transfers and everything. So that's basically our major challenge as of now. We really need to make the ability to pay and the movement of money become a little easier instead of just via bank transfers and credit cards and everything. So that's something that we're also working on as of now.
So I just have one last question for you before I let you go. So what advice or encouragement do you have for aspiring creative professional in this region?
I would say please continue to draw upon the rich and opulent culture of our whole Asian, continent. We have so much art and art and culture, and we have civilizations that are some of the oldest in the world. And we already draw into it so much. It's almost like a living culture. It not almost. It is a living culture in all of us, and it influences in our art and everything. So please continue to draw upon that. And through that, that longevity of our culture as people from this continent, draw upon the fact that humanity has also faced great calamity before this, and it has emerged stronger and more resilient and more vibrant also. So this too shall pass, and keep honing your skills and adapt to the current themes and continue to be the zeitgeist of the entire world.
Thank you for your time. If you enjoy our show, do let us know by clicking the like button or leave a comment below. Subscribe and hit the bell so you won't miss out on our next interview, and follow us on Instagram. And we will actually include contact details, right? So that you can actually reach out to Wangchug as well, especially for those who are actually looking for freelancers to actually, notify or actually get in touch with Wangchug directly as well. So until then, take care and we will talk soon. Bye. Thank you, Wangchug.
Thank you so much, Jace. Bye-bye. Bye, everybody.